Just we'll wait for 2 minutes, Sunday. So because if you are going to start GCS with Python, we need to do some kind of settings and everything. If people are joining late, if they cannot even understand, they won't be able to perform any activities in next 1 hour. So just we'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes and we'll start. Online people, hope my voice is audible.
Yes, sir.
Just 2 minutes, Sunday, we'll start. So only 17, 18 people are joined. We'll wait for 2 minutes and we'll start the class. We'll start. Okay. So in the morning class, we discussed about pandas and we discussed about different operations by using pandas. So now in this session, what we'll do here is in previous classes, we discussed about GCS, which is nothing but Google Cloud Storage. So as part of discussing about GCS, we discussed about how we can able to perform all the activities from the console. After that, we discussed about how we can able to perform all the activities from the Cloud SDK. Now, actually, we can able to perform same kind of activities with the help of the Python also. So if you want, we can able to perform all the activities, whatever we have done by using the GCS, we can able to perform all those activities with the help of the Python. Now, you know GCS. At the same time, you know the Python. Now what we can do here, we are going to integrate GCS operations with the help of Python. So earlier, we don't know about the Python. That's the reason we didn't discuss about this topic. But now we know about Python. At the same time, we know about the GCS and it. So for that reason, what we are going to do here is, now we are going to perform integration operation between the GCS with the help of the Python. So with that, by using the Python, we are going to perform all the activities on top of the GCS. Okay. Now, to perform this activity, we need to follow a few steps. First step, in Infinity, I uploaded a notebook. So please download that into your local systems. So please follow my instructions clearly for first 5 minutes only, because in the first 5 minutes we are configuring the GCS in our local system, or we are configuring the GCP related credentials in our local system. If you are going to perform any kind of mistake there, automatically you cannot able to perform any activities in the next 1 hour. For that reason, in Infinity, follow my steps here one by one. In Infinity, I uploaded a notebook. Please download that into your local systems, either in the C drive or B drive or anywhere. Okay, just give me 1 second. I will re-upload again. Might be because of network issue, it didn't upload properly. Even for 20 batch 20 people also are facing same issue. Okay, just 1 second. 19 batch people, can you please refresh Infinity and can you try one more time? Same issue? Okay.
Sir, it's happening for all the files, sir, in the Infinity.
For all the files?
Yes, sir.
No. Morning also you people are unable to download, or only now you are not? Morning? No, someone is saying now they are unable to download the other files also.
Yes, sir, unable to download.
Might be some issue from the Infinity side. Just 1 second, I'm checking the other files. Okay, that's okay, Andy. So it's not a kind of a showstopper for us. It's okay, no issues. Anyhow, after completion of the class, I will upload. So what I thought here is, in that notebook, I kept all the examples. In parallel with me, you also can able to execute everything. But if that is not working, you can ignore. You can able to understand the things, and you have to type everything. Like the way every day you are doing, right? You have to type everything, and with that you have to perform the practice. It's not a kind of a showstopper. So we can continue here. So this one you can ignore for now, because that Infinity is not working. We can't do anything. Okay. So next step, what you have to do here is, please open your Cloud SDK shell. Open Cloud SDK shell. Hope everyone remember how to open this. So please go to start and open the Cloud SDK shell. After that, please check your account name and your project name, whether you are in the proper account and project or not. How we can able to check that information? You can give gcloud info, or you can give it as a gcloud space config space list, or you can give gcloud space auth space list. By using any one of the command, please verify whether you are in the proper account or not. At the same time, verify whether you are in the correct project or not. If you are not there in the proper account, or if you are not there in the correct project, what we can do? Please reinitialize the session. So to reinitialize, you have to give the command called as a gcloud init. By using that command, try to reinitialize the session. Just to verify if everything is looking fine, your mail ID and your project, if everything is looking fine, no need to perform any extra activities. And if anything is not correct, please try to reinstate the session. Okay. So after that, please give this command. So please give this command in the Cloud SDK shell. Give it as gcloud space auth space application default space login. So please give this command. Otherwise, if you want, I will ping in the group. So please give this command from the Cloud SDK shell. Once you given the command, it is asking for the redirecting to your GCP mail account, and it will ask your mail ID and password. Please give your GCP related mail ID and GCP related password.
Sir, first step, create a program in Python. Do we create?
No, it's not required. So no. I didn't inform anything about this one. So please perform these activities. So please give this command. Sorry. So please give this command in the Cloud SDK shell. So with that, it will redirect to your mail account. Please give your mail ID and password. Okay. So once you are doing all these activities and in the Cloud SDK shell, again, you will come to the normal command prompt. But if you notice, there you can able to see one JSON file. In your Cloud SDK shell window, you can able to see one path like this.
It will ask as a username, sir.
It will ask the username and password.
Okay.
It will redirect to your mail. It's not redirecting. It's redirected.
No, your browser has been open to visit like that.
Yeah, there you need to provide your information. You need to provide your Gmail ID and password.
In the URL. I thought in the same screen.
No, not in the same screen. Redirecting is it will go to other
screen.
It's
redirecting, yes.
Okay. So once you entered your mail ID and password, everything, it is saying that your GCP account is verified. Then please come back to our Cloud SDK shell. In the Cloud SDK shell, you can able to see the normal prompt. But above that, you can able to see one JSON file name like this and application underscore default underscore credential.json. And you can able to see one complete path like this. Please copy that path and keep it into your notepad. Because this path is we are going to use in the next few minutes. That's the reason. Please copy, paste that entire path into a notepad. Just I'm repeating. Once you given this command, please open the Cloud SDK shell. In the Cloud SDK shell, verify your project name and your account name. Once everything is fine, then please give this command. Once you are going to give this command, it will redirect to the browser. In the browser, you need to pass the mail ID and password. After that, it is given the message saying that your account is verified. Then please come back to the Cloud SDK shell. In the Cloud SDK shell, you can able to see one JSON file like this, application default credentials.json. And other than this JSON, you can able to see a complete path and please copy that entire line into your notepad because this JSON we are going to use in next 5 to 10 minutes. So indirectly what we are doing here is whenever we are creating an account in the GCP, for every account, we are going to have the credentials. Whatever the credentials we are having in the GCP account, we are downloading all those credentials in the JSON format. Whenever we given this command, automatically what's happening here? It is creating a credentials.json in our local system. That is, this is the path. In this path, it is created this JSON file. That is the path just we are saving in our notepad. So after that, please give this one more command. Any guesses what is this command? So morning we installed pandas package, right? In the same way, here we are going to install the Google Cloud Storage package, and because by using my local system, I want to connect to the Google Cloud Storage. At the same time, by using Python, I want to connect to the Google Cloud Storage. For that reason, we are having a module called as a Google-Cloud-Storage module. So we need to install this module if you want to work with Python in the combination of GCS. For that reason, we are installing this module. So please install this module. Again, I will ping in the group.
Sir, after I have entered the G-Cloud Auth application default login.
Hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, please.
Sir, it's just verified the account, so I haven't, I didn't get any URL, sir.
No, it will redirect to your browser only. So if you given this command, it will redirect to your browser. In the browser, you need to give the username and password. And after that, in the Cloud SDK shell, you can able to get this kind of path. Okay. So please install this package. It won't take much time. I think within 20-30 seconds, it will complete the installation. Offline people, anyone facing the issue so far? Okay. Online people, anyone facing the issue so far?
I enter that install pip1, sir.
Mhm.
So error like it's process something, and then in the down Google
Have
Auth
you, uh,
as requirement like that.
have you given the hyphen user? Can you please give the same command one more time?
Yes, I given same.
So if anyone facing the error, so just give the same command one more time. So try to understand with these steps what we are doing. Don't blindly follow it only. So first one, what we are doing is we are downloading the credentials of our GCP account into our local system by giving this command. This is the first step. Second step, with the help of the Python, I want to connect to the GCS. For that reason, just we are installing a module or we are installing a package called as a Google-Cloud-Storage. Every morning, we work on the pandas module. For that, we install the pandas. In the same way, if you want to work on the Google Cloud Storage with the help of the Python, we need to install this module. For that reason, we are giving the pip install this command. So with the help of this command, you can able to install this module on top of your system. Okay. Now, after this, next step.
Sir, this pp install Google Cloud, we have to give in command prompt.
Yeah, from the Cloud SDK shell. Whatever the steps I'm telling so far, please do all these activities from the Cloud SDK shell only. Okay. Now, please give this command. Jupyter space notebook from the same cloud shell only. In the cloud shell is nothing but a kind of a command prompt, right? There only, please give this command Jupyter space notebook. Indirectly, you are trying to open the notebook from the Cloud SDK shell. So you know, right, what will happen if I'm given the Jupyter space notebook? It will take 10-20 seconds of time. Within 10-20 seconds, it will open the browser. In that browser, you can able to see our notebook. After that, hope everyone know what we have to do. Once the notebook is going to open, please click on new button, then click on notebook. So with that, we can able to open the notebook.
It's showing a not recognized as internal or external command.
Please give the proper name only. So Jupyter space notebook. So it will open a browser. In that browser, what we need to do? We need to click on new, and in the new, you need to click on notebook. With that, you can able to open the notebook.
So is this not work for PyCharm, sir?
It will work for PyCharm only. So first we do it from the notebook, then I will tell you how we can able to do this from the PyCharm.
Okay.
Okay, hope everyone completed. Now, in the notebook, see here, in the first step, what we are going to do here is, if you remember morning pandas, we install the pandas. After install the pandas, what we did only, for every example in the first line, we given it as a import pandas. In the same way, coming to here also, we are going to use the module called as nothing but storage, and we install the Google Cloud Storage module. But in that module, we are having the one of the package called as nothing but storage package. So we need to import this. So this is the line of the code we have to give. Please give this line. I will ping in the group.
So it is giving the error like permission denied.
Yeah, please give the hyphen user only. So as part of given the pip command, please give the hyphen user at the end. With that, you won't get any kind of access denied error.
Yes, sir, I have given the same.
Okay. Any other one facing a similar kind of issue?
Sir, at the end of the execution, here it is showing warnings.
Yeah, warning is fine. If you are getting the error, then only we need to worry. Warning is fine. So okay, warning. A
So
person
I'm
who is
also getting there.
yeah, please give the same command one more time. If you are getting any error, please run the same command one more time. The same pip install command one more time. Okay. So this is the first line of the code. So by using the first line, just we are importing our required package, and after that, what we have to do here is, if you want to work with the GCS side, we need to create the client object. And by using this client object only, we are going to access all our buckets, and buckets are files in the bucket. If you want to access all those things, we need to create a object. For the purpose of creating this object, here we are going to use the method called as a client. So whatever the module we imported, in this module, we are having the method called as a client. With the help of this, what I'm doing here, I am creating an object called as a GCS client. Now you tell me, you also have to give the same name, or you can give any name. This is the variable name, and you can give any name, but just for the consistency, better to give the same name. But I'm not saying that compulsory you have to give the same name here, because this is the variable name. You can able to give any name by depending on your convenience, but just for convenience. So if you are to analyze all the kind of issues, if you are going to face anything, just for the consistency, better to give same name here. I will ping this line of the code also. Only first 3-4 lines, and once you can able to retrieve the bucket list, what it means indirectly, with the help of the Python, you are connecting to the GCS, and with that you are getting the buckets information. Then I can able to go with my own flow. But in the first step, I want to make you sure that you are connecting to the GCP without having any kind of issue. Once we can able to connect to the GCP with the Python, then what I can do here, I can able to explain all the other lines of the code one by one. But first few things we have to do very carefully. That's the reason I am giving all these lines of code one by one. So please, which one?
From Google Cloud import storage, we are getting error, sir.
You're getting error. Okay, then please do one thing, Andy. So please
Module not found.
Yeah, please click on this. Here, please give this command one more time. Whatever the pip install command I given to you, so please give that command one more time. Within the Jupyter notebook, please run this command one more time. Pip install Google Cloud Storage hyphen user, or remove the hyphen user. Just run this up to here. From the notebook also, please try to run this command one more time. Pip space install space Google Cloud storage. So with the help of this import statement, if you are getting the error as a module not found, please give this pip install command from the notebook and run it. After that, again, try to run this from google.cloud import storage, and so with that, hope that error will resolve.
Sir, after the pip install in SDK shell, what are the steps? Can
You have to give the Jupyter space notebook. So you need to open the notebook. If you want to open the notebook, you have to give the command called as Jupyter space notebook. It resolved now? Okay. So if anyone facing the issue with this line of the code from google.cloud import storage, if you are getting any error called as a module not found, then please run this pip install command from the notebook itself. After that, again try to run the same from google.cloud import storage one more time. With that, that issue will resolve.
Yeah, it's working now.
Yeah, okay. So I know people will face this kind of issue. That's the reason I'm spending this much of time for first few steps. And once you can able to configure first few steps, all the remaining steps will become very, very easy.
Sir, I'm getting a error is they could not install package due to environment error. Access denied.
Where you are getting that error from the Cloud SDK shell or from
Yes,
the notebook?
Cloud SDK. Sir.
Okay. Have you given the pip install that Google Cloud Storage -- user?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you please try to run one more time on the same command?
Okay.
Okay. So whomever able to run this import command, so please try to run the second line of the code. This is the line. So please try to run this second line of the code. So here just we are creating a client object. With the help of this client object only, we are going to perform all the operations on top of our buckets or on top of the files. For that reason, just we are creating a client object by using this line of the code.
Sir, sorry, I was in meeting. After running pip install Google Cloud Storage user, could you please tell me what is the command I have to run, sir? I could see in Telegram from Google Cloud import storage.
Yeah, you need to run that command from the Cloud SDK shell. From the Cloud
Okay,
SDK
sir.
shell, please open the Jupyter notebook. You have to use Jupyter space notebook. With that, you can able to open the Jupyter notebook. So
Okay,
there,
sir.
click on new and click on the notebook. So with that, you can able to open the notebook. In that, you have to give these lines of the code. Hope this line also executed for everyone. Okay, yeah, nice. Then nice, Andy. So if this line got executed, which means indirectly you are connecting to GCP by using the Python code. All this is nothing but our Python code, Andy. With the help of the Python code, indirectly you are connecting to your GCP. Now, if you observe here, after creation of this object, now if I'm giving this object, now see here, you also from your side, just give the GCS client. This is nothing but our object name, Andy. After that, give the dot. After that, click on tab button from the keyboard. Once you click on the tab button from the keyboard, you can able to see all the available methods, whatever we are having in the client object. What is the client object we created? GCS client, that is the client object we created. Now we are giving client object dot. If you remember morning also, we are giving pandas dot data frame. Then we are giving pandas dot series. In the same way, here I created the object. On top of this object, we can able to see so many number of methods. And if you want to see all the methods, what we have to do here, you have to give it as a your object name, which is nothing but GCS client dot. After that, click on the tab button. If you click on the tab button, then you can able to see all the list of the methods here. If you see what the method we are having, one of the method, create bucket, which is nothing but by using this, you can able to create the bucket by depending on our requirement. In the same way, if you see next what we are having, list underscore buckets. Any guesses what is the purpose of this list underscore buckets? To see all the buckets on top of your GCP account, we can able to give the list underscore buckets. In the same way, we are having the one more function called as a list underscore blobs. And any guesses what is the use of this? To see all the files. Okay, actually in the GCS side, we can able to call file is nothing but a blob. And if you want to see all the list of the files, we can able to use the command called function called as a list underscore blobs. And if you want to see all the list of the buckets, we can able to use the command called as a list underscore buckets. Like that, you can able to see all the buckets all the functions information. Now, what is the get underscore bucket? Any guesses? If you want to retrieve details of a particular bucket, then we can able to give the information called as a get underscore bucket. Like that, once we are going to create the object like this, in this object, we can able to see so many number of functions here. By depending on our requirement, you can able to pick any one of the function. On top of that, we can able to perform our remaining operations. And if anyone is not seeing, just I'm repeating, you have to give the client object, then please give the dot. After that, click on the tab button. Just to wait for 2-3 seconds. And after 2-3 seconds, you can able to see all the list of the information. Just 1 minute only.
Hello. In the meanwhile, can anyone tell why we ran one command in SDK, right? What's the purpose of that command?
Yeah, I
Which
need
command?
command for to add the path here. After pip install, no. To add the path, can anyone guide me? I joined little late today.
Which path, Lalita? You're talking about the pip install Google Cloud Storage.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Lalita, just down
Uh,
you have default credentials .json. Copy that to Notepad.
okay,
Yeah, in future it will get used, not now.
okay.
You paste that one in Notepad.
JSON, I can't see. I can see a requirement already satisfied. Some my local path is coming. Then it says Google Cloud Storage. That's only I could see.
Okay, here we need to give it
JSON.
as a, so
Okay.
sorry for your problem.
Okay.
So here we need to give our client name, and after that just we have to give the dot, and by click on the tab symbol, what will happen? You can able to see all the list of the functions, whatever we are having on top of your client object. Now here what I'm doing is just I'm giving list underscore buckets. So my requirement is I want to see all the list of the buckets, whatever we are having. So that's the reason just I'm giving it as a GCS client dot list underscore buckets. On top of this, just I'm going to perform run option. Now see, once we are going to click on the run button, instead of giving the output, it is given the information called as a HTTP iterator, which is nothing but it is creating an object called as a iterator object. On top of this iterator object, we cannot able to see the data. That's the reason what I will do here is on top of this, we are applying the function called as a list function. If you remember, in the previous classes also, we did the similar kind of operation. Whenever you want to convert the data into the list format, what is the function we can able to use? We can able to use the list function. Now we are applying the list function on top of this one. So with the help of this function, what will happen actually? You can able to get the list of the buckets, but we are converting that list of the buckets, or we are converting this iterator operation in the form of the list. For that reason, we are given the function called as a list function. Now, whatever the list we are getting, we need to store that entire list into a variable. For that reason, we are given the variable name called as a bucket list, and indirectly here this is the variable name. In this variable, we are storing the list values. In that list values, what we are going to store, whatever the bucket names we are having in the GCP account, all the bucket names we are storing into this variable. With that, you can able to see the buckets information. Now, for example, if you removed all the buckets from your GCS Andy, please create 1 or 2 buckets for the purpose of understanding how we can able to retrieve the buckets. If you are already having the buckets, well and good. If you don't have the buckets, please create 1 or 2 buckets from the GCS console. With that, once we are going to run this line of the code, what will happen? You can able to see list of the buckets on top of your output. Just I will ping this line of the code also. And again, please try to understand what activity we are doing as part of this line of the code. We are given the list underscore buckets function. By using this function, you can able to get the buckets in the form of the list. But after getting the buckets information, I want to create it as a list. For that reason, here we are using the function called as a list function. Now I want to store all the buckets names into a variable in the form of the list. For that reason, just we are given the variable name called as a bucket list. After that, once you can able to run this line of the code, just to give it as a print of bucket list only. Once we are going to give the print of bucket list, then what will happen? You can able to see all the buckets information, whatever you are having in your GCS account. After running this line of the code, if you want to see the list content, what is the command? Just we have to give it as a print of list. So here we are giving print of bucket list. With that, what will happen? You can able to see all the bucket names on top of your output.
Sir, I have a question here. So why do we want to list the buckets here?
I want to see why we are doing these operations.
In order to connect to the GCS.
Why we are connecting to GCS?
To load some files using Python.
Why we are doing that activity from here?
We are having one of the option of doing this also.
So
right?
that's the reason. So to see the list of the bucket, just I'm using this option only. So here we are performing all these operations with the help of the Python. I am trying to show you by using the Python how we can able to see the list of the buckets. That is the one of the example I want to show you. So after that, we can able to see some different examples. So here what we are doing with the help of the Python, I want to perform the activities on top of your GCS. Now, for example, if you want to see the list of the buckets or if you want to see the list of the files from the Cloud SDK, what is the command we are going to use? What's the command we are going to use?
GS util ls.
Yeah, we are going to use the command called as a GS util space ls, that is from Cloud SDK. Okay. Now I am using the Python. In the Python, if you want to see the list of the buckets or list of the files, and for that we are going to use the function called as a list underscore buckets. For that reason, I am performing this list operation. Is it clear?
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I thought like using this something else you're creating.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get that. Can you please repeat?
Yeah, like I thought using these commands you are creating one more bucket and you're I
No,
mean
we are
you
not
want
creating.
to see-
No, we'll discuss about next steps, Andy. So we'll go one by one. Okay, so this is the command we are using for the purpose of listing the buckets.
Okay.
Hope everyone able to see the buckets information. It's working.
Sir, getting error.
What's the error?
Before run this command, shall we need to create bucket first?
Yeah, you need to have the bucket, Andy. So that's the thing I already told you, right? So please create 1 or 2 buckets in your GCS console. So with that only you can able to see the buckets information on top of your output. Other people, anyone facing the issues? Please have at least 1 or 2 buckets in your GCS. Then only what will happen, you can able to see that you can able to pick that buckets information by using this line of the code. Anyone thinking we are doing any complex activity? We are not doing any complex activity. We are doing very simple activity with the help of the Python. Just I am trying to access the GCS by seeing all these lines. Don't think that we are doing some complex activity. We are doing very simple activity. Earlier, we worked on the GCS already from the console. After that, we worked on the GCS with the help of the Cloud SDK. Now we are doing the same activities on top of the GCS with the help of the Python. Don't feel that we are doing the complex activity. Why you can able to feel the complex activity is nothing but just we are doing some kind of setup in the first 3-4 steps only. Might be by seeing those steps, might be you are feeling it's a kind of a complex activity. But tell me in the real time, do we need to worry about all those kind of setup? No, right? Your admin team will take care of all those kind of setup. But if you want to perform the practice here, you yourself is acting as an admin. For that reason, we taking care of all those admin activities only. Without doing those activities, you cannot able to perform all the remaining operation. That's the reason we did some kind of prerequisite operation. After that, simply we need to run 1 by 1 line of the code. With that, we can able to perform all our required operation. Now, once you can able to get the buckets information on top of your output. Now, for example, my requirement is I want to take the only first bucket name. So how we can able to get the only first bucket name? If you see here, I am having total 5 to 6 buckets only. This is 1 bucket, 2nd bucket, 3rd bucket, 4th bucket, 5th bucket, and 6th bucket. So like this, I'm having total 6 number of buckets. Now my requirement is I want to display the only first bucket. Then what I can do? Indirectly from the list, I want to display the only first element. How we can able to display the only first element from the list? You have to give the list of 0. By giving that list of 0, we can able to display the first element. Now, earlier when we are going to run this line of the code, what's happening? It is creating a list. On top of that, just I'm adding the value called as a 0. So with this, what will happen? It will take the only first bucket. So please try to run this command. Again, I'm pinging in the chart. Sir, why you are pinging 1 by 1? So if I'm going to ping all the things, what you will do, you are trying to run all the commands at a time and you will get a lot of confusion. For that reason, we'll go 1 by 1. So in this command, I'm not doing any extra activity. Whatever the previous line of the code we ran, same we are running one more time. But now, instead of getting all the buckets, I want to retrieve only the first bucket. For that reason, just we are given the value called as a 0. If you are given the 1, what will happen? It will display the second bucket. If you are given the 2, it will display the third bucket. But here what I'm doing is I'm giving the only 0. So with that, you can able to get the first bucket. Okay. After that, if you want, just give the command called as a print of bucket only. So with that, you can able to see your bucket name like this. Just give the print of bucket. If I give the print of bucket, we can able to see the bucket name like this. Whatever the first bucket we are having, that bucket name you can able to see. And one more important thing, just to give the one more command called as a type of bucket. Now tell me what is the purpose of type command? Earlier we discussed.
To know the data type.
If you want to understand what is the data type of your variable, then we can able to give the command called as a type and d. So here we are giving the type command, type function on top of your bucket variable. Whatever the bucket variable we given here, on top of that we are giving the type command. If I'm going to run this, so see here, what's happening? What is the data type we are getting indirectly? Google.cloud.storage.bucket.bucket and d. Indirectly, whenever I'm going to run this line of the code, what will happen here is it is given the bucket name, but internally it is creating a object called as a bucket object. So here what's happening? We are given the first bucket name by given the value called as a 0. With that, we are creating a variable called as a bucket variable. This variable is what type of object? This is the type of the object called as a bucket object, and on top of this bucket object, now we can able to retrieve the files information, because now you tell me, whenever we are going to work on the GCS, where we are storing all the files, direct in the GCS, or first we'll create the bucket? First we need to create the bucket. Within the bucket only we are going to have all the files, and in the same way, as part of retrieving the information also, what we need to do here? First we need to create the bucket object. After creation of the bucket object, on top of that bucket object, you can able to retrieve the files information. Just for showing you that I did all this kind of operation. Now here I given the first bucket name to the variable called as a bucket. Indirectly what I'm doing as part of this line, I am creating the object called as a bucket object. On top of this bucket object, we can able to perform the retrieval operation of your files. Okay, for example, if you want, you can able to try like this. I'm giving bucket dot tab. Just give like that, Andy. Bucket dot tab. If you are going to give the bucket dot tab, you can able to see all the functions which are available on top of your bucket object. So like this, you can able to see all the list of the functions which are available on top of your bucket object. So here just what we are doing is I'm trying to show you how we can able to create the bucket object. In the previous line here, what we did in this line, we created the client object. By using this client object, we can able to access the buckets. After accessing the buckets, on top of a particular bucket, what I'm doing here, just I'm creating the bucket object. These are the operations we are doing, Andy. Now if you observe here, now in this line, try to give the answer what we are doing. In this line, what I'm trying to do. Try to understand from your side.
Accessing the bucket.
See, here what I'm doing, I am using the client object. Whatever the first object we created, I am given the client object dot. I am given the get bucket. Here, what is the bucket name I'm giving? I'm given the one of my bucket called as a GCS Python CDE. This is the one of the bucket I am having already in my GCS account. Now on top of this bucket name, what I'm doing, I am creating the bucket object, Andy. So earlier what we did here, on top of this list, I am trying to create the bucket object. Now instead of creating the list or instead of giving the 0 variable, here what I'm doing, directly I am trying to getting the bucket. As part of getting the bucket, here I am giving the bucket name like this. Whatever the bucket name you are already having in your GCS account, we can able to give that bucket name here. Earlier, what is the command, what is the function we use? List underscore buckets. What is the meaning of list underscore buckets? It will give all the buckets. Okay. Now, what is the meaning of get underscore bucket? In the name only, you can able to find out the answer. You can able to get in the information of a particular bucket, Andy. If you want to retrieve information of a particular bucket, then we can able to give the function called as a get underscore bucket. After that, we are assigning this entire output to a variable called as again bucket variable. Now, indirectly tell me, this is the variable for what? What type of variable it is again? Any guesses? Just see here, I will run this. After that, I am given the print bucket. So we can able to see the bucket name is nothing but GCS Python CDE. Now after that, just what I will do here is, again, I'm giving type of bucket. What I'm doing here, I'm giving simply type of the bucket. Now you can able to see indirectly again what we are doing. Again, we are creating the object called as a bucket object. Indirectly, I'm trying to show you how many ways we can able to create the bucket object. One option, directly we can able to give the bucket name by using the get underscore bucket. With that, we can able to create the bucket object on top of our requirement. What is the one more option? You can able to give the list underscore bucket. With that, you are getting the list. From that list, we are giving the first element. On top of that first element, we are creating the object called as a bucket object. Now, indirectly, by giving this bucket object in this line of the code, we are creating the bucket object for which bucket? In this line, we are creating the bucket. In my system, I can able to say we are creating the bucket object for this bucket. CDE bash 20 pub sub. For this bucket, I am creating the bucket. But my requirement is I want to create the bucket object on top of this bucket. Then what I need to do here? We need to give it as a GCS client get underscore bucket of GCS Python CD. This is my bucket name. You can able to specify on which bucket name you want to create the bucket. Like that also we can able to create the bucket object. But tell me why we are creating all these bucket objects here suddenly. What is the purpose? If you want to access files within the bucket, we have to maintain the bucket object. Otherwise, we cannot able to access the files on top of your bucket. For that reason, we are creating the bucket object. Try to link each and every topic, whatever we discussed earlier, and where we are maintaining all the files in the bucket. Indirectly, if you want to retrieve the files, we need to connect to the bucket. On top of that bucket, we need to create the bucket object. Now you tell me, when I'm creating the bucket object, can I able to give any name or I need to give the specific name as per the requirement? I need to give the specific name as per the requirement. For example, you are having X bucket, Y bucket, Z bucket, but you want to see all the files in the Y bucket. Then we need to create the bucket for which bucket? Bucket object for Y bucket. If you want to see all the files in the Z bucket, then we need to create the bucket object for which bucket? So if I'm repeating the bucket multiple times, might be you can able to frustrate, but we don't have any other option, Andy. So if you want to create the bucket object on top of the Z bucket, what we need to do here? We need to give the bucket name is nothing but Z. But how we can able to specify a particular bucket here? By using the method called as a get underscore bucket. By using this, we can able to specify the particular bucket. I am having the other requirement. I want to get all the list. In that list, I want to give the first element. Then what we can do here? In that situation, we can able to use the method called as a list underscore bucket Sandy. Indirectly, by depending on your convenience or by depending on your requirement, either we can able to go for this approach or we can able to go for this approach. But in the both the approaches, finally, what I'm doing? I am creating the bucket object. Any questions up to here, please ask me. Okay, now what I will do here is just I'm pinging this line of the code to you. Now, in your system, in whatever the bucket you are having the file Sandy, please provide that bucket name here. Don't give the GCS Python CD. That is my bucket name. Now, in your system, in your GCS account, whatever the bucket name is having the files, please give that bucket name. With that, we can able to get the list of the files in the next step.
In real time, how they can integrate it with the Python with the GCS? Is there an application?
They are going to provide the keys information or they are going to provide the JSON information, whatever the JSON earlier I told you. With the help of that, we can able to configure all these things.
Directly we ran the queries there.
Yes. Directly we are going to run the comments, not queries, comments. Yeah. Okay. Now see here. Now my next requirement is I want to get the list of the files on top of your bucket. So if you want to get the list of the files on top of your bucket, we are having the function called as a list underscore blobs function. What is the meaning of blob? Indirectly, it's nothing but the files Sandy. Indirectly, list underscore files. We don't have that name actually. We are having the name called as a list underscore blobs. By using this function, what we can do here, you can able to retrieve the all the files information on top of your bucket. So please run this line. Again, if you observe here, why we are applying the list function one more time in this example, in this line of the code. With the help of this function, what is happening here? It is trying to provide all the file names, Andy. You are retrieving the multiple file names. Now, on top of those file names, I want to create the list. To create the list, what is the function we can able to use? We can use the function called as a list function. With the help of this function, I am creating the list called as a file list. In this file list, we can able to see all the files information, whatever we are having in the bucket. Next, I will give this line of the code. So please copy this line of the code and try to run it. In this line, what I'm doing here, I'm giving the list underscore blobs. Here I given the my bucket name as a GCS Python CDE, but coming to your case, please provide your bucket name where you are having the files, and with that you can able to see all the files information. Now see, actually in my bucket, I'm having these many number of files. For that reason, after running this command, if I'm given the print of file list, you can able to see all the file names, whatever we are having in our bucket. Now in my system, in this bucket, I'm having all these files. For that reason, it is displaying these many number of files. So first step, we are getting all the list of the buckets by using the command called as function called as a list underscore buckets. And next function, we are having the function called as a list underscore blobs. And by using this function, we can able to get all the list of the files as per our requirement. Once we are getting all the files, on top of that, just we are creating a list. After that, I am giving print of file list. With that, we can able to see all the files, whatever we are having in the bucket. Now, if you want to perform the same operations from the Cloud SDK, what's the command we can able to use? Just we can able to give the command called as a gsutil space ls. By giving that command, you can able to see all the list of the files. And in the same way, within the Python, if you want to perform these operations, we are using all these kind of methods. For every operation, we are going to have the method. If you want to get the buckets, we need to give the list underscore buckets. If you want to see the list of the files, we are given the function called as a list underscore blobs. Now see here, my next requirement is like this. I want to copy a file from local disk to GCS bucket. So this is my requirement. I want to copy a file from local disk to our GCS bucket. Now tell me if you want to perform this operation from the Cloud SDK, what's the command we can able to give?
gsutil cp command.
gsutil copy. We have to give the source file,
file.
and we need to give the target file bucket, target file path. So with that, simply we can able to perform the copy operation. Now we can able to perform the same operation on top of our bucket, on top of the Python also, Randy. So if you want to perform this operation, what we can do here is, first one, we need to create bucket object. As I told you a few minutes back, first step what we have to do here, we need to create the bucket object. After that, we need to create blob object, which is nothing but indirectly we need to create the file object. Now in this blob object, we can able to see a function called as upload file name. So we can able to see one function called as a upload file name, and by using this function name, what we can do here, you can able to copy the file from local system to our GCS bucket with the help of the Python code. But coming to Cloud SDK is a kind of a straight command, but in the Python, we cannot able to perform this operation straightforward. So what we have to do here, first we need to create the bucket object. After that, we need to create the blob object, or we can able to call it as a file object. Because why we are creating the file object? You want to perform the file operation, which is nothing but you want to perform the file copy operation. If you want to perform the file copy operation, we need to create the object called as a file object. On top of this file object, we can able to see the function called as a upload file name. So by using this function, we can able to upload the file. And now you try to give the answer how to create the bucket object, already which we discussed. I'm giving the variable name is, for example, bucket. What next? We need to give our client object dot, we have to give get underscore bucket, and now within the bracket we have to specify on top of which bucket you want to create the bucket object. That is the line of the code we have to write. Already we discussed this line of the code few minutes back, Andy. So see here I'm giving the GCS client dot get underscore bucket. Then I'm giving the GCS Python CDE. So with this, just I'm creating the object called as a bucket object. Now what I will do here is I'm going to my bucket. In this bucket, I'm removing all the files. See, in the GCS Python CDE bucket, I removed all the files. We don't have any files now in the GCS Python CDE. Now, first step, I'm creating the bucket object. Just I'm running this. I already this line of the code earlier already, so please run this one more time. Now, after that, if you observe here, I am creating a blob object. So what I'm doing here in this line of the code, I am creating a blob object. If you want to create the blob object, just we are giving it as a bucket variable dot blob. Here, just we are giving a file name only. So what I'm giving here, I am giving my file name, or I can able to say we are giving a path. So in this example, I am giving like this. So what I'm doing here, I'm giving the name is nothing but Python GCS / sample / customer underscore LO.json. Now my requirement is in my D drive, in the Qt folder, I am having the file called as customer underscore LO.json. Just assume that only this is my local path. Now in this local path, we are having the file called as customer LO.json. This is present in the D drive Qt folder. We are having this file. Now my requirement is I want to upload this file into the GCS bucket, but in the GCS bucket, I want to create the folder structure like this. In the folder structure, I want to create the first folder called as a Python GCS. Within that, I want to create one more folder called as a sample folder. Within that, I want to copy the file called as nothing but customer underscore LO.json. Now you know everything, but Python don't know where you want to copy, or what is the file name you want to give, or what is the folder name you want to give. Python don't know all this information. For that reason, what I'm doing here, as part of creation of the blob object, we have to specify this information. Now, for example, instead of giving like this, I am giving, for example, like this, a / customer underscore LO.json. Now tell me what will happen. In the blob object, just I'm given the content like this, and I'm given the file name like this. Now what will happen? As part of doing the copying operation, this file will copy to the GCS bucket. But in the GCS bucket, what will happen? It will create the A folder. In that A folder, it is going to copy this file name like this. Okay. Now, for example, I am given the one more way like this. Instead of giving the customer underscore LO, I am giving simply ABC. As part of creation of the blob object, just I am giving the name like this. And now you tell me, if you are going to copy this file, what will happen? Your file will copy, but this will copy to your Python GCS folder. Within that, it will create the one more folder called as a sample folder. In that folder, your file will copy, but that name will take it as a abc.json. Indirectly, we can able to say here, gsutil space copy. We are giving source file and we are giving target file, right? Now, this is the command we are giving the Cloud SDK. Now, here you need to understand whatever the source file we are giving, that is nothing but indirectly your local file, okay? And whatever the target file we are giving in the Cloud SDK command, that target file is nothing but we are giving it as a argument as part of our blob object. In this blob object, whatever the value we are giving, that value indirectly you can able to think that in the Cloud SDK, whatever the target file path we are giving, that is nothing but that is the value we are passing on top of your blob object. Now you tell me, can we able to give any value here? You can able to give any value only, but what will happen? Whatever the value we are giving, based on that value, it will copy the file to that respective path. Now here I'm giving the Python GCS, then I'm giving the sample, then I'm giving the file name. So what will happen? Once I'm going to upload the file, that file will be uploaded to your Python GCS folder. In that, it is creating the sample folder. In that, it is having the customer underscore LO.json file. This is the way your file will be copied. That's the reason, as part of creation of the blob object, we need to provide proper information. If you are given the wrong information, based on that information, your file will be copied from local system to your GCS bucket. Okay, just we'll see that.
With this, we are performing 2 operations at a time.
Sorry, can you please repeat?
With this, we are performing 2 operations at a time. We are creating
We are giving the
Folders
blob,
and
we are creating a
copying,
blob object. At the
right?
same time, we are creating the folder and also we are copying the file also. Okay, so see here, just I'm running this line and so with the help of this line, what's happening here? It is creating an object called as a blob object. This blob object is referring this path. Okay, now next what I'm doing here, on top of this blob object, I am performing the upload option. What is the function we are having? Upload from file name. Here we need to provide the path of your local system and in the local drive, wherever you are having the file, that path we need to provide here. I given the path already. Now just I'm trying to run this. Now see what happened. Your file is uploaded. Now we'll go back to the GCS console. Now see earlier we don't have anything. Now just I'm going to click on refresh. Now see what's happened. Python GCS folder created. After that, it created the folder called as a sample folder. After that, within the sample, it copied the file called as a customer_lo.json. Now tell me where we are giving all this information. As part of creation of your blob object, we are giving all this information. Whatever the information we are giving in the blob object, based on that, it is copying the file on top of our next line of the code. And now, for example, here I am giving 1. Customer LO 1. Now I am running this. I created the blob object one more time. But if you observe here, what is the file name I have given? Customer_lo1.json. Now tell me, if I am going to run this line of the code, what will happen? I created the blob. Again, I'm trying to upload the file. Same line of the code. I'm trying to run one more time. Now, any cases, what will happen?
Another
New file
JSON file created.
Already Python GCS folder is there. It won't create the folder. Sample folder also there. It won't create the folder. But earlier, what is the file it copied? Customer_lo.json. Now, what is the name I'm giving? Customer_lo1.json. Now, if I'm going to run this, just observe what is going to happen is we ran. Now, go back here. Now, if you perform the refresh operation, now see what happened. We copied the same file from the local system, but as part of copying, what I did here in the blob object, I given the different name and indirectly in the blob object, whatever the name you are giving, with that name, your file will be copied on top of your GCS bucket. Now, what I will do here is, for example, now I'm giving, for example, here like this. I'm giving Python GCS1. Then I'm given the sample one. Now tell me what will happen. I am creating the blob object like this. Now in this example, I am running this. Now I am going to copy the same file. Now you tell me what will happen. I am creating the blob object. What's the modification I did here? I given the Python GCS1. Then I given the sample 1. Then I given the customer_lo1 and this is the way I given the whole name as part of our blob object. After creation of the blob object, again I'm going to run this line of the code one more time. Now tell me what will happen.
It created the new blob.
It will create the new folder again because earlier we are having the folder called as a Python GCS. But now what I did here, I given the value called as a Python GCS1 and for that reason, it will create the one more folder called as a Python GCS1. In that folder, it will create the one more folder called as a sample1. In that folder, it will copy the file called as a customer_lo1.json. Just observe. See, it created the folder called as a Python GCS1. In this, it created the folder called as a sample1. Now, in this sample1, it created the folder, it copied the file called as a customer_lo1.json. This is the way you can able to specify your information on top of your blob object. Any questions still if you're having on top of this blob object, please ask me here. This is very important thing you need to understand. Whenever we are going to create the blob object, here we need to specify in which path you want to copy the file and what is the file name you want to specify. All that information we are giving on top of the blob object. That's the reason I am spending this much of time on top of the blob object only. But still, if you are having any kind of questions, please ask me here. Is it clear? If it is clear, now try to give the answer. Now my requirement is I want to copy the file into A folder. In the A folder, I want to create the B folder. In the B folder, I want to create the C folder. In this folder, I want to copy the file name as x.json. Now you tell me what's the modification we need to perform. In the bucket, I want to create the A folder. Within the A, B folder. Within the B, C folder. In the C folder, I want to copy the JSON file called as a customer LO.json, but while copying, I want to give the file name as a x.json. That is my requirement. Now you tell me what changes we need to perform on top of this code here.
The blob is equal to bucket.
Where we need to do the change here in the blob object or in the bucket object?
Blah blah.
We need to change do the change in the only blob object only. Here just we have to give it as
A
slash
B
slash
one
C.
more slash
Then
C.
here I'm giving x.json because my requirement is I want to create the A folder, in that create the B folder, in that create the C folder, in that I want to perform the copy operation. That's the reason we are giving all that information as part of our blob object. Again, just I'm running this. After that, I am uploading the same file one more time. Now see, if you go to the bucket, if you click on the refresh button, it created the folder called as a folder. Within the A folder, it created the one more folder called as a B folder. Within the B, it created the subfolder called as a C folder. Within the C, it copied the file called as a x.json. Okay, this is the way, by depending on our requirement, you can able to specify the path or you can able to specify the file name, where we are giving all this information. All this information we are giving on top of your blob object. After giving this information in the blob object, then we can able to copy the file by using the function called as a upload from file name. By using this function, you can able to copy the file on top of your blob object. This is the way you need to understand how we can able to copy the file from local disk to our GCS bucket. Okay, any questions still if you're having, please ask me up to here. Now tell me, actually if you want to run the gsutil command, where we need to run gsutil command? You need to run the gsutil command from the Cloud SDK shell. But in the Jupyter notebook, we are having a flexibility, and whenever you want to run any kind of Cloud SDK command, you can able to run those commands also from the same Jupyter notebook. Only thing what we have to do here is, before your Cloud SDK command, just we need to give this symbol. So we need to give the exclamatory symbol. By giving that exclamatory symbol, what we can do here, if you want, we can able to run Cloud SDK commands also from our notebook. So here tell me, this is what type of command? It's a Python code or it's a kind of a Cloud SDK command?
Cloud
gsutil is nothing but Cloud SDK command. Now my requirement is, in this bucket, I want to see the all list of the files information. So what's the command we are giving generally? gsutil ls, we are giving the bucket name. Instead of giving this command in the Cloud SDK shell, here only we can able to run it. But if you want to run the Cloud SDK shell, what we need to do here? Just we need to give the exclamatory symbol before the command. With that, we can able to run the Cloud SDK commands also. Just observe. I think it's taking some time, but it will work on this. So we'll wait for a few seconds. Yeah. So here we are getting all the list of the information. So what's the list we are getting here? We are having the Python GCS bucket. We are having Python GCS1 bucket, and we are having the A bucket. Now, for example, if you want to see the recursive information on top of all these folders only, in every folder, what is the subfolder, what is the file we are having, what we need to do here? I want to perform the recursive operation on top of each and every folder. Then what we need to do here in the Cloud SDK command?
-r.
Just give it as a -r. If you are given the -r, what will happen? It is going to perform the recursive operation within the A folder. What's the subfolder? In that subfolder, what is the file we are having? If you want to see all that kind of information, just we can able to give it as a -r. But this is the low priority item for today, because already we discussed about the Cloud SDK commands. But here mainly we need to focus on how we can able to write the Python code for the purpose of retrieving the buckets information, or for the purpose of retrieving the files information, or for the purpose of copying the file from local disk to our GCS bucket. How we can able to write the code, all that information we are trying to understand. Any questions up to here, please ask me.
That -r comes to Unix commands.
Tell me, this is the Unix command or this is the kind of a
This is
Cloud SDK command?
Cloud SDK command.
It's a Cloud SDK command, so it's not a Unix command. In the Unix also we are having the ls-r, but here we are not given the Unix command. This is the Cloud SDK command. Okay. So before moving further, any questions up to here, please ask me. No
Sir,
questions?
in real time, I will be writing the all these type of codes in Python code, sir.
Yes.
In real time.
Yeah. In some of the projects, we are going to write the Python code like this. That's the reason only we are discussing.
Okay, sir.
We already discussed in the previous classes, right? Might be
Yeah.
you can able to get the console access. Otherwise,
Mhm.
we can able to perform these operations from the cloud SDK. Otherwise, in some of the
Okay.
projects, they will ask us to write the kind of a Python programming, and for that reason only we are spending this much of time. Otherwise, what I can do here, simply I can able to skip all these topics and I can able to go for the other topic. But instead of that, why we are spending this much of time? Because in the real time, we are going to perform these kind of activities. But in every project, are we going to perform this kind of activity, or in some of the projects, we are going to perform this activity? In some of the projects, but you cannot able to predict in which kind of projects we are going to work in the real time only, because we don't know in which company we are going to get the job. We don't know in which kind of project we are going to work. We don't know whether we are going to get the console access or cloud SDK access, or you need to write the Python programming. You don't know anything. For that reason, we should be in the position to handle any kind of situation after getting the job. That's the reason I am trying to explain all the different options what we can able to perform in the real time projects. Even if you're getting the bore feeling also, you have to sacrifice yourself only, because without knowing all these things, if you are going to work in the real time, you can able to get the job. But once we are going to get the job, what's the next step? Survival is going to play the very important role only. If you want to survive in the real time, definitely you need to have knowledge about all these kind of topics. For that reason, we are discussing all these things. Otherwise, what I can do here, if I'm not going to cover these topics, no need to discuss about the Python. In the Python, no need to discuss about the list, no need to discuss about the lambda, no need to discuss about the file operation. Simply, I can able to skip all these topics. With that, I can able to go for the other topics only. But why we are spending 4 or 5 days on top of the same topic? Because I know in the real time, we are going to perform these kind of activities. For that reason, we are spending this much of time on top of each and every concept like this. Okay. Any other questions up to here?
Sir, blob means whenever I'm going to create a file, blob we have to use as.
Yes, correct.
Thank you, sir.
Whenever you're dealing any kind of operations on top of the file, you have to use the blob. Okay.
So the file name is file type is mandatory, right? This is the difference between the SDK and notebook. So in SDK, we don't need to give the target path. We just need to give the folder only. But in here, we need to give the type of the file which is we are going to upload,
Yes,
right?
correct. Yes, correct.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now see here. So far, we are doing all these operations on top of the notebook only. Now, if you want, what we can do here, we can able to perform the same operations on top of your PyCharm also. But if you want to perform the same operations on top of the PyCharm, we need to do some kind of settings, and quickly we'll discuss about those settings. With that, I will wind up the session. Please open your PyCharm. Please open PyCharm. Okay. So in the PyCharm, please create a Python script file. How to create the file? Just right click on the project, go to new, click on file. Here give some name, sample.py, or you can able to give GCS demo.py or GCS python.py, like that, just to try to create one file. Just to try to create one file in the Python. Okay. After that, here in this file, you can able to see the green button like this, Andy. In this green button, please right click. On top of the green button, please right click. Then click on add parameters. On top of the green button, please right click. Then click on add parameters. Okay. So please observe here what is the name it is showing and what is the script file it is showing, Andy. It should display whatever the file name which you created currently. Other than that, if it is showing any other information, what you can do here is you can cancel this. Just in this program, give the small command like this, print hello. So whatever the script you created, in the script, just give the simple command like this, print hello. After that, just right click on the program and run as a file. Now see what's happening. We are getting the output. Whatever the new file you created, in that file, just give the small line of the code, which is nothing but print of hello. After that, right click on run button. With that, we are running this script on top of your pie chart. Now right click on this green button, click on add parameters. Now right click on the green button, click on add parameters. With that, now you can able to see your current script name here, and you can able to see the current script path here. Okay. Now here, if you observe, you can able to see one thing called as a environment underscore variables. And in this environment underscore variables, we have to give the information like this. In this environment underscore variables, you have to specify Google application underscore credentials. Now, any guesses what is this path? Any guesses what is this path? At the beginning, if you remember, I told you, right? Please copy the JSON file path into your notepad, and that is the path we need to provide here. Now I'm giving this whole line. Now in this whole line, what we need to change here? This entire path after the equal to symbol, whatever the path I given, please replace that path with your path, and that is the information you need to provide. So please copy that line into your notepad, and after the equal to symbol, whatever the path I given, please replace that path with the path whatever you copied at the beginning of the session. Okay. Now once you are ready with this complete line, please copy this complete line and go back to your pie chart window. Go back to your pie chart window. Now here, I think by default already you are having the one variable called as a Python buffer is equal to 1. Don't do any changes on that. Just give the semicolon. After the semicolon, please paste that complete line from the notepad to your pie chart window. Under the environment variables, by default you are having Python buffer is equal to 1. Leave it as is. Just give the semicolon. After the semicolon, please copy the line whatever you prepared in the notepad. So indirectly what I'm doing, from the pie chart, I want to connect to the GCP. If you want to connect to the GCP from the pie chart, what need to happen? It is asking the credentials information. That credential information we are having in the JSON file. That whole path we are giving on top of your environment variable. With that, as part of execution, it will go to this environment variable. It will go to the JSON. In the JSON, it is trying to understand what all are the credentials. With that, it can able to connect to the GCP. With that, we can able to perform all the operations by using our pie chart window. Okay. Now, after this, what we have to do here is, earlier we install the Google Cloud Storage on top of your notebook only. Now, if you want to work with the Google Cloud Storage, what we need to do here? We need to install the Google Cloud Storage on top of your pie chart window. Now, you tell me within the pie chart how we can able to perform the installations. I want to install the packages. How to do? Morning also we did the same topic. Morning we install the pandas from where? From the pie chart. If you want to install any package from the pie chart, how we can able to install it? We need to go to
project.
file. We need to go to settings. In the settings, we need to search for interpreter. Once we can able to search for the interpreter, here you can able to see the Python interpreter. Here click on this plus button. Once you click on the plus button, here you can able to search for what is the package you want to install. Here my requirement is, I want to install this package. Just I'm pinging you in the chart only. Earlier we did this operation by using the pip install command, but in the pie chart, instead of giving the pip install command, directly from here we can able to install the package. So in this window, just search for this one. See, once we are given the Google Cloud Storage, you can able to see the package called as a Google_Cloud-Storage, and after that, here you can able to see the option called as a install package. Please click on that. With that, it will install this package on top of your pie chart. Two steps. One is we are exporting the JSON file into the environment variable. That is the first step. Second step is nothing but we need to install the package called as a Google Cloud Storage package. With that, whatever the operations we discussed in the notebook, same operations we can able to perform in the PyCharm also. Sir, why you are not installing? I already installed it. So if you observe here, I already installed the package called as a Google Cloud Storage. For the reason I am not installing, from your side, please install this. And once you are click on the OK button, after some time you can able to see the message like this, and the package installed successfully, and you can able to see your package name. Please wait till that time. Now tell me why we are doing all these activities here. Why we are doing all the activities in the PyCharm? Because whatever the lines of the code I ran in the notebook, I want to run the same lines of the code by using the PyCharm only. For that reason, just I'm doing all the required setup on top of the Python. Now setup is ready. Now what we can do here? Whatever the commands I already discussed in the notebook. What's the first one? We need to import. So first time you can able to see we perform the import operation. After that, we need to create the client object. You can able to see the same line of the code. After that, I want to retrieve the bucket list. If you want to retrieve the bucket list, what's the command we need to use? We need to give the list underscore buckets only, and that is the line of the code we have written. After that, I given the print of bucket list. Indirectly, whatever the individual lines of the code we ran in the notebook, we can able to combine all those lines, and you can able to copy paste all those lines into your PyCharm window. Now just I will run this. Now see what's happening here. Once we are going to run this PyCharm will connect to the GCS, and with the GCS, it is creating the client object. After that, it is trying to fetch the buckets information. After that, we are converting all the buckets names into the list, and we are printing that list. With that, we need to get the output. We'll see what will happen. And for your convenience, I'm pinging these lines of the code in the chat. Once package installed successfully, please copy these lines into the PyCharm. Sir, why you are not explaining all these lines? Have we discussed about all these lines or not already? We discussed about all these lines already in the notebook only. Just what I'm doing here, instead of running from the notebook, I copied all those lines of code into the PyCharm. What is the advantage of PyCharm? Instead of running the one by one line of the code, we can able to run the multiple lines of the code only. We are importing the module, and we are creating the client object. We are getting the buckets, and we are printing the buckets. If you observe here, it is giving all the buckets information like this on top of your output. Now, for example, I want to iterate the buckets. What we need to do? I want to iterate all these buckets one by one. Then what I need to do? How to iterate the list? How to iterate the list? Yeah, so we need to go for loop for I in. This is the bucket name. Now just we need to do it as a print of I. So with this we can able to iterate one by one bucket only. Just I'm going to run this also. See here, it is displaying all the bucket names one by one, because here I have it in the for loop, and with the help of the for loop, you can able to see all the bucket names one by one like this by depending on our convenience. This is the way from the PyCharm also we can able to run the same kind of programming. So either by depending on your convenience, you can do this operation from the notebook, or you can able to perform this operation from the PyCharm. Otherwise, if you want, what we can do? We can do same operation from the IDLE also. And by depending on our convenience, we can able to use any one of the approach. But I already covered about how to do these operations from the notebook, and we discussed about how we can able to perform the same operations by using the PyCharm. But tell me what operations we are doing so far here. That is the main topic, right? By seeing all these things, might be you will forget about the main topic. What's the main topic here? What's the main topic? How to handle GCS service by using Python code. Okay, that is the main topic only. As part of this process, we discuss about the notebook and we discuss about the PyCharm. In the notebook, we discussed about what we need to import, what is the client object we need to create, what is the bucket object we need to create, what is the what is the blob object we need to create, and if you want to see the list of the buckets, what function we need to use. If you want to see list of the files, what function we need to use, and if you want to upload the file, what is the function we need to use. All those are the topics we covered as part of our today's session. Okay, any confusions on top of all these questions, please ask me. Sir, everything is confusing. So obviously first time you will get the confusion, Andy, but please do the practice by taking one by one line. My sincere suggestion, instead of using the pie chart for this exercise, please try to use the notebook, Andy. In the notebook, please try to run one by one line. With that, what will happen? You can able to understand what is the purpose of that line. With that line, what activity we are doing. With that, you can able to get the clear picture how we can able to perform the operations on top of GCS by using the Python. If you want, you can able to go for the PyCharm also. I'm not stopping you, but to understand in the detailed way, better to do all these operations by using the notebook. And whatever the notebook I'm showing you here, I will upload into Infinity. I will check with the admin team and what is the issue with the Infinity. They will resolve that issue. With that, what will happen? You can able to download the notebook. In that notebook, you can able to see all the lines of the code. Don't blindly run all the lines, Andy. Try to understand every line. With that, try to run all those operations. With that, you can able to get the clear picture what operations we are doing on top of the GCS by using the Python. Okay. Now, one more last thing I want to say here. Don't think that why we are discussing all these things. So generally, when people are joining the course, what's the question people will ask generally? Sir, will you cover all the topics or not? First question. Second question, sir, will you cover advanced concepts or not? Third question, sir, will you cover all real-time use cases or not? Next question, sir, will you cover, with this course, can I able to perform hands-on work by putting 3 to 4 years of experience? All these are the general questions I will get before starting the course, Andy. Now, at the end of the course, what will happen? Sir, why we are discussing this? Might be people are not asking, but internally you're having all these kind of feelings, and I can understand that. Sir, why we are discussing? First question. Second thing, sir, are we going to use these in real time? Next question. Sir, why we are not discussing GCS services? Now tell me here indirectly what we are doing. Are we discussing GCS service or not? With the help of the Python, we are dealing with the GCS, but people are focusing on the only Python only, or they are focusing on notebook, or they are focusing on the PyCharm. With that, they are in the junction. We are not discussing GCS, we are discussing only the Python. But if you observe what we are doing here, in the combination of the Python, I am trying to explain about the GCS service and why we spend 4 to 5 days of time on Python concepts. Why we spend? If you want to understand that today's session, you should have knowledge about all the previous topics, Andy. Without having knowledge on the previous Python concepts, you cannot able to understand what we are discussing in the today's session. That is the reason we are covering all these things, Andy. Don't think that why Sorry is discussing all these things. I know what to cover and I know what not to cover. You don't worry about that, Andy. I know everything because I'm having 17 to 18 years of experience. I know in the real time what activities we are going to perform. That's the reason when we are discussing one topic, don't think that why we are discussing. Second thing, don't think that this topic is not important. I can able to skip the class. And if you see here, morning we are having 47 people. Now we are having 30 people. Tomorrow morning again those 70 people will join, whomever not attended. Tomorrow morning we are going to continue the same topic. Then what will happen? They cannot able to understand what we are discussing in the tomorrow morning session. So with that, what they will think? Simply they will think that sir not explaining topics properly. So but what's the problem here? If you are missing one class, automatically what will happen? You cannot able to understand the second class. One more thing, if you are not going to perform practice for one class, in second class what will happen? It's completely kind of a Korean movie. What's the meaning of Korean movie? Something is playing, but we are not understanding anything, Andy. At the same time, your body will present here, mind will present somewhere else. Okay, what about eyes? What about the eyes? Mind is somewhere else. What about the eyes? It's in the sleepy mode. Already some people are sleeping in the class. I can understand that. But Please focus on the things, Andy. Presenting in the class is not important. Focusing on the class is very important. Otherwise, what will happen? Even if you're attending the classes, there is no use, Andy. At the same time, presenting, focusing, after that, doing the practice. Okay. Otherwise, then also no use, Andy. So that's the reason I can able to say everything is important. You need to attend the classes. You need to understand the classes. And you need to perform the practice. And you need to implement all these things. Okay. So trust me here. If you want, you can able to search in the Amirpet market, or you can able to search in the entire Hyderabad, or you can able to search in the Bangalore or Chennai also. No one will explain all these topics as part of the course. If you want, you can able to inquire anywhere, and you can able to go to the Google. You can able to download all the institute materials, and there you can able to see all this kind of information. What they will do here? Simply they are going to explain about GCS services, some main services. They will explain 2 or 3 services, and with that they are going to complete the course. But here we are discussing each and every topic. Whether you want to utilize or you don't want to utilize, that is in your own hands, Andy. If you can able to understand everything, and if you can able to perform the practice and everything, what will happen? You can able to get the perfect knowledge. With that knowledge, easily we can able to survive in the real time. Forgot about the interviews, Andy. Easily you can able to get the jobs. But after getting the job, if you want to survive in the real time, compulsory you need to understand about all these kind of topics. For that reason, we are spending this much of time on top of all these things. And one more last thing I want to say. Whatever we are discussing, please try to understand everything and please do the practice. Sir, why you are telling the same thing again and again? Even if I'm telling again and again, people are not following that. That's the reason I'm telling again and again, Andy. So please do all the things properly. At the same time, every day we are conducting lab sessions. And we are conducting doubt sessions or lab session, or we can call it as a doubt session. Please try to utilize that, Andy. So with that, you can able to get the clarifications on top of our each and every session. And one more thing I can able to say, if I'm teaching 1.5 hour class, indirectly I can able to say this is equivalent to 4 hours class from other faculty. So already I think people are attending from last 20-30 days, Andy. So in our class, within the single class, we are discussing so many topics, and in between the class, are we discussing any separate topics, or completely we are focusing on the technical things only? We are not discussing anything about the movies. We are not discussing anything about the cricket. We are not discussing anything about the politics. Are we discussing any such kind of things? I don't want to discuss all those things, because if you are going to discuss all those things, what will happen? Obviously, you are going to become distracted, and your mind will become distracted. Already you are in the sleepy mode. If I'm going to discuss all these things, what will happen? You cannot able to focus on the class. That's the reason, complete 1.5 hour I'm focusing on the class only. That's the reason I'm saying that my 1.5 hour class is equivalent to 4 hours class from the other faculties, Andy. Now indirectly here, we are connecting 45 to 60 days of the classes. And every day we are taking minimum 2 classes. Sometimes we are taking the 3 classes. Now you can able to multiply all these things. With that, you can able to understand how much knowledge we are trying to give to you, Andy. But why we are doing all these activities? Why we are doing all these things? Obviously, I will agree to attract the students. First one. Second one, if you remember on the demo session, I told you, Andy, are we going to build the trained people or skilled people?
Skilled.
So our target is we want to build the skilled people. That's the reason from our side we are putting this much of efforts, Andy. Please try to utilize all this kind of knowledge. With that, try to become as a skilled people. Don't go as a trained people. If you are going to work as a trained people, that is suitable for freshers. But here you are not going to work as a fresher. You are going to work as a 3 to 4 years of experienced person in the real time. If you want to work as a 3 to 4 years of experienced person, you need to go and work as a trained people or skilled people. You need to work as a skilled people. That's the reason from our side, what we can do here, we can able to give as much knowledge I am having from my end. I will try to share all that kind of information. Please try to utilize all that information. With that, try to perform the practice properly. With that, you can able to get all the knowledge. With that, easily we can able to survive in the real time projects. Is it clear? Okay. Any questions on top of these topics? I know I wasted the 5 minutes of your time, Andy, but sometimes we have to discuss these things also. Otherwise, what will happen? You cannot able to get the motivation. For that reason, I need to become the motivator sometimes as part of our classes. Okay. Any questions?
Sir,
I need to play multiple roles, Andy. One is faculty role. One is friendly role, because I'm getting some comments also, feedback. Sir is not a friendly manner. He's teaching the classes and he's leaving for the day. That is one thing. And one more thing, I need to work as a mentor to you, and I need to work as a motivator to you, because I need to play the multiple roles from your side. We are playing how many roles? We are playing only one role. What is that? Student role. Now tell me, which is the difficult activity, student role or teaching activity? I think earlier also we discussed, right? What's the difficult? Teaching or learning? I can understand that. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, someone is asking something. Interview questions. What was any question on the interview side?
In interview, they will ask like this. Today we perform, right? We accessing buckets and all from Python, right? They'll ask to write these commands in interview.
Yeah, sometimes they will ask the code and so they will ask to write the Python code, but no need to write the exact code and so at least if you can able to give the draft version of the code, they will satisfy.
At least syntax was Bob.
Yes,
like
correct. So you can at least you should be in the position to explain. We need to create the bucket object. We need to create the blob object, and we are having the function called as a list underscore buckets, and we are having the function called as a get underscore bucket. At least if you are in the position to give that kind of information, they can understand you are really working in the real time. If you are unable to give all this kind of information, they can understand you are not working in the real time.
Same for creation of external buckets, internal buckets,
Everything
and all.
for everything.
Except SQL, right? SQL we have to give.
SQL also
code,
same thing.
right?
If you can able to give at least if you can able to explain what you need to perform or what is you are having in your mind, at least if you can able to explain that in the proper way, even if you are not going to write the code, they will get the satisfaction. So sometimes what will happen is in the interviews also we'll get some kind of tricky people. So what they will do here is before coming to interview, they will read 10 questions. And they know answers for those questions and they're expecting the same answer as part of the interview process. In the situation, we cannot able to handle such kind of people. But if he's a kind of a real-time employee and if he's having really experience in the cloud data engineering, he will try to understand what we are explaining, what is the way of your explanation, whether you are given the respective answers or not. That is the way we are going to evaluate the people only. But sometimes we are going to get some interview people. They are preparing 10 questions with 10 answers. They are expecting same answer. Okay, for example, they know answer as a. If you are saying A, you are giving the answer as a. I am giving answer as a. They won't agree. They are expecting only A. Or if you are giving the small a, they won't agree. They are expecting capital A only. So sometimes such kind of situation will happen. In the situation, we can't able to do anything until that depends on the interviewer. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if no question, that's all for today. I will check with the admin team. I will upload that notebook into the Infinity and I will update in the Telegram group also. After that, you can download and you can able to perform the practice. Tomorrow morning session, we are having continuation of these topics only. Please do the practice and all these things. With that, come to the tomorrow morning session. With that, you can able to understand what we are discussing as part of our tomorrow morning session. Okay. Okay, then we'll meet you tomorrow.